This is a brief video to show you the installation I did of the Yardistry mosquito curtains from Costco on the 12 by 14 pavilion that I built last year. I also got it at Costco. The purpose of my install is not for mosquito control. Rather, it's for number one, to decrease the amount of pine needles that collect there during the week when I'm not using it. And two, when there's a light rain, just to decrease the amount of sort of side splatter if you happen to be using the kitchen. So that's the purpose of what I'm hoping that it'll achieve. So I'm going to give you a couple of pictorial tips and suggestions that I encountered that might be helpful for you when you're constructing this. Obviously, I'm using it as an outdoor kitchen, and here we go. You're going to need a step ladder, or ideally two. This is a 13-foot one, and it makes it a heck of a lot easier and safer getting to the peaks. But I recommend you're going to need a shorter one in the 5 to 6 foot range in order to do the work around the edges. So that's just a tip for you. If you've built it already, you probably have utilized something. Now, to start off, they give you the upper panels. This is important for me because pine needles will come in through that area, and also some side spray from any light or heavy rain. So you start with the panels. There are three on either side. All you do is you get the smaller screws, and it's really self-explanatory from the pictorials they give you to secure them. I started in the center and stretched it out and put in the screws and just sort of worked my way down to the narrower corner at the edges, and it seemed to work fine. So after you secure those three gable panels on either side, you're going to want to install the first set of tracks, and those are called the gable tracks. It's two equal length pieces that are going to go on that beam, the inside of the beam above where it says Maddie's Cafe. And on the inside, you find the center, you butt them up against each other, you secure them, and then you put a support right between where the two pieces meet. And then you have to look at either side. There will be a gap on one side where it doesn't butt up against the post. And for that, you'll want to put in a screw, and that's what they recommend. You put it in a screw that basically the head of that screw stops at the end of that track, so that when you slide the hangers, and there'll be 16 of them in this particular track that'll hang the curtains, that it won't fall off the inside. And there's an example of the screw that I've put in. So one thing that I did was I coated the screw that they suggest you put in some heat shrink wrap. I just felt it looked a little bit better, and when the rail hits it, it's quieter. But make sure once you shrink it and you screw it in, that the head of that screw goes all the way in the dead center of that outer track. In this picture, it's not in far enough. It needs to go in about another centimeter or so to be dead center, so it'll prevent the hangers from rolling out. Something else that I found is that you may have to unfasten and slide in the track into some of the rail hangers, or brackets, but that's easy to fix. And here's another example. Is you just loosen it, slide it in, and then it's fine. So here's the finished product. So after you get all the rails on, you'll hang all of the curtains. And basically the curtains are partially on two sides. So if you look straight ahead above the sink I have, you'll see a line going straight up in the middle. That's a zipper connection of the two panels. So to the right, that panel will go over to where I have that red neon sign, and it'll continue on to the other straight up and down black zipper that's behind the large barbecue there. So when you want to use a heat appliance, because you can't use them when the curtains are closed or they would melt, you just pull the track over, and they come with little ties that you will install on each of the inside part of the post, and you just tie them together. So for me, I'll open them up when I'm using the thing, and I'll close them up when I'm done and everything's cooled down, and it'll keep the pine needles, etc., out of there. So anyway, that's the plan. I hope you enjoyed it. I think these were a reasonably priced item from Costco. I think they were about I think more than $300, but less than four. It escapes me as to what they were. So I'm hoping that it will provide me with a little bit of shelter when I'm out just there puttering around, um, and it'll keep the pine needles out. Again, I'm not really looking for mosquito control because I have a fogger for that. I should also point out that it comes with some snaps at the top, to keep it in place next to the post, but it doesn't come with snaps at the bottom. So I ordered some extra snaps from Amazon, which I'll show you later. It came in a kit, and I put two of them through the thicker part at the bottom, and it was just easy to screw in and then attach the snap. You can get the kit off of Amazon delivered. I think it came in a day. There's 120 snaps for 20 bucks with the tool. So it's really easy to do and a lot cheaper than buying it, say, Canadian Tire. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it gave you some good tips, and that's it.